In this video, I want to discuss yet another exercise that is great for hitting the upper chest area, which is a problem that a lot of guys, myself included, have trouble bringing up. Could be due to a variety of factors. It might be biomechanics. Your front delts might take over more on those exercises that are intended to hit more of the upper pecs. It could even come down to the biochemistry of the actual individual muscle fibers themselves. So whatever it is, there are ways that we can help at least bring up those lagging areas. It's possible, won't necessarily turn it into your strongest area, but it'll at least help bring up that weak lagging area so it's not quite so evident that it's that weak. And this is a unique exercise that I call the kettlebell incline press. Now, I'll show you a version if you don't have access to kettlebells, but I really like the kettlebells due to the way it helps you feel more in the upper pecs. Now, I recommend doing this exercise at the end of your chest workout because typically you're going to be limited to how heavy you can go with kettlebells. Today, with the popularity of kettlebell training, you can now find kettlebells that go even past 100 pounds, and you're not going to need much more than that, far less. This I'm using about a 55-pound kettlebell, which is more than plenty, especially when I do it at the end of the exercise and when you do it properly. So now the first thing you'll do is you're going to set your incline bench at a very steep incline. Now, yes, typically when you do incline presses or flies to hit the upper chest, you really don't want to go past the 45-degree mark. And even, I recommend even keeping it a bit lower so that the front delts don't take over the movement and minimize the involvement of the upper pecs. But for this exercise, trust me, you want to go a bit higher on your incline, maybe as high as about 60 degrees or so. And the reason is you'll see on the movement that I'm doing. So then you're going to take your kettlebell and you're literally going to hold it underneath, like cupping it with both hands. You're going to lie back on the bench, bring the kettlebell down to your upper abs, just below your chest, and then you're simply going to press it up, but up and out. It's not a movement where I'm going straight up. If you just did this straight up, the kettlebell is going to be way too light. You really want to make sure you're pressing it up and out. Nice and slow, and you want to focus on using your upper pec muscle fibers as you do this. Nice and slow on the negative. And that's the movement. Now, a couple of pointers here with no weight in my hand so I can talk a little more clearly, is when you're doing this, the reason I like the kettlebell is because when you cup the kettlebell this way, it's very similar to using the reverse grip. And for those of you who followed my advice on using reverse grip barbell and dumbbell presses, know it's a great way to hit the upper chest. But when you cup the kettlebell with your hands like this, keeps your arms close together as you come up. Now, what that's going to help you focus on is really squeezing. You want to focus on pushing with your upper arms and trying to bring your elbows together. Obviously, you're limited because your hands are fixed, but you really want to focus on squeezing those elbows together, which is going to help hit that upper inner pec area. And like I said, you don't want to be pressing it straight up. That's going to work more of your front delts. By pressing it up and out, it's going to focus more on the upper pecs. Give it a try and you'll really feel this. Now, if you don't have access to kettlebells, you can do it with dumbbells, but again, it's much better using the kettlebells. But you can do it with dumbbells simply by grabbing a pair of light dumbbells holding them in reverse grip position, same starting position, and coming up and out in front of you. So give my incline kettlebell press a try next time you train chest. Like I said, I'd recommend doing this towards the end of your chest training, specifically if you're using a kettlebell, because you're going to be limited to how heavy you can go. However, if you want to use it with dumbbells, you can throw this in anywhere, because we know that when you're trying to bring up a weak muscle group, priority is key, which is why you want to do those exercises that focus on that weak area first in your workout. But what I would recommend is this: if you do have access to kettlebells, is try to stick with the kettlebells as long as you have kettlebells that are heavy enough for you. And then what I would do is do another exercise that focuses more on that upper chest area, like the standard reverse grip barbell press, or even reverse grip incline press, or standard reverse grip dumbbell presses. You can find my videos on those all over the place, jimstoppani.com. And then try finishing off your chest workout with the kettlebell incline press. So that's all I have on incline kettlebell press. If you have any more questions, hit me up on Twitter. Be sure to look for more great tips like this here at jimstoppani.com.